protocols that Dr. Kevin are putting in, they could be toxins, so they're those things that we're getting exposed to, or they could be the technology things that we're running into problems with on a day-to-day basis, and the stressors of life, and trying to make sure that we're getting to, Timmy to practice on time, and I gotta be here, and I gotta do this, and oh crud, we gotta eat dinner somehow. And so these things get added into our body and then into our brains. Now here's the deal, the toxins, everybody has toxins in them, and I had a patient who told me like, hey, I don't think it's a toxic problem because my spouse doesn't have the same symptoms I do. Okay? And that's not true because everybody's toxic ability or burden is different. Their ability to detox is going to be different. And so just because you're having symptoms and somebody else in the house isn't, their just body is dealing with it better than yours. Okay? And it's not necessarily good for them because who wants to just have a body who's not getting rid of toxins or not producing symptoms? This is taking it on all the time. And so we got these toxins in here. Now we're just going to continue to add stress to our life. So we start having stuff going on. We're adding it in. We're going through life. We got to pick up little Timmy, little Johnny. We're going here. We're breathing in all the chemicals in our house.
Gotta go to Disney World.
Yeah. Oh yes. We got to get our Disney World trip in. And we're getting here. And right when we get close to this top area here, it's like okay, starting to maybe feel some the first symptoms. Okay, so I'm starting to feel like I'm getting overwhelmed with all of the stuff that's going on and all of those things.
Little fatigue.
Yeah.
Like I used to.
Okay, and then, but the last time I checked, Timmy still needs to get soccer practice. So we keep going and we keep going.
And then go to work.
Yep, and then eventually what ends up happening? You lose your marbles. Exactly right. Okay.
Or you lose your balls.
Yep. And so this is what happens, and this is what happens to people in life all the time. And finally it starts to spill over, and now it's something you can't hide from. So before maybe you were trying to ignore it, you were pretending it wasn't happening. I can get through it, I can just push through. I have a lot of perseverance, so I'll just do that. But it gets to a point where it hits an overwhelm point. And then when it does, that's crisis time. That's unfortunately when you have people that are having mental breakdowns and they're hitting depression and they're hitting all these really low points in their life. That stuff doesn't come out of nowhere. Okay, there's not anybody that I'm aware of that said, you know what, my life was on top of the world yesterday and now I'm at the bottom of the ground and down in the valley. That doesn't happen overnight. These are things that build and build and build over time. We choose to either ignore them or we do these things to try to cope with it better. When what we really need to do is get to the cause of the problem, get rid of the sources of those things, and that's part of not only from a physical toxin standpoint, but also from the mindset standpoint.